Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing good. Tarmac Works, Porsches, Global 64, which is kind of a surprise. We don't do a lot of Global 64 around here just because there's not usually a lot that piques my interest, but these do. So, this 911 GT3 I've actually had for quite a bit now. It is still kind of a newer casting. It came out a little bit earlier this year, probably 2 or 3 months ago, I want to say. I didn't do a review on it. I did open it up and look at it, and I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised with it. It looked pretty good, but this one just came out. This is the Porsche 959 in red. Really cool car. I love the 959, and it kind of dawned on me that this is the first 959 that I have in my collection. Mini GT hasn't made one. None of the other relevant brands have made one, so this is kind of like a first. I hope more brands make the 959. I hope Mini GT makes it. I hope Almost Real makes it. But for now, this will be the only one. And I'm sure Tarmac Works will do some more colors of it, of course. But yeah, so with that being said, I'm excited for it. And if it's as good of quality as this one, I'll be satisfied with it. But let's go ahead and start off with this one. So again, like I said, Porsche 911 GT3 Type 996. I like the way they do their boxes with like the cool art in the background. This vertex back here is another example of that. Like the boxes always, they look cool. I like how the car wraps around that side. The one thing I don't like about these is that the cars are, I don't like how inaccurate of a presentation of the model is on the package. It's kind of just like a render of the model, but they use like real life details. So like there's no brake details on this model. The details aren't going to be that crisp. And a funny thing I notice on like the ones they do like supercars and whatnot is they'll have carbon fiber detailing on it. And it's like, why do that? Why are we advertising what? I don't know. Anyways, Porsche licensing, of course, right there. This is an IXO models. In fact, I think these are just produced by IXO. I don't really think Tarmac Works has much to do with the production of these. They just sell them, I guess. Not really sure. But there's the information right there. So yeah, like I said, I was pretty pleasantly surprised with this one. Definitely, I think, turned out pretty well. I know there's a lot more colors of this one coming. There was one, I don't remember what color it was. I think it was a blue one. The wheels it had on it were really weird. They did not look good. And I have noticed on this casting, and I think that's maybe why it didn't look good in the photo I saw at one of the expos, is the axles wobble around a lot. And depending on how it's sitting, sometimes that wheel can be pushed forward or backwards, and it makes it look like kind of terrible. If you set it down like that, it looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a gap, and like, I don't know, these Porsches have something weird going on with like the axles, but there's really the only complaint I have with it. Aside from that, it's actually quite a nice model. It's got a really nice metal flake silver paint. Nothing too crazy going on. I have a little bit of a paint bubble right there on the hood, but you know, that's just tarmac quality for you. But anyways, paint looks nice for the most part, aside from that little blemish right there. And it's very clean. And I actually think they did a good job at capturing a lot of the key details. The wheels look pretty nice. There might be a little bit of GT3 text in the center. Actually, no, maybe there's not. No, it doesn't look like it. I guess that's a little bit beyond Tarmac Works pay grade, or IXO's pay grade. I don't really even know at this point, but the wheels look nice enough. They don't look plasticky, which is one thing on some companies' wheels look like really plasticky to me. Like, it's a really weird thing to explain, but just trust me on that. The wheels look pretty good though. The spokes have a nice curve to them, so like the actual wheel itself is kind of convexed. Is that what it means when it kind of like domes out? So the wheels look pretty good. Slick tires. There's the bottom. The bottom of this one is plastic, so that kind of sucks. It does tell you what it is and who it's made by, of course. But here's the details on the front. So the only complaint I have with this model, like the only real complaint, is that the headlights have like some weird like super glue residue in there. You can see like right above that like headlight lens, or not the lens, but the actual bulb detail in there. On both sides, there's some super glue residue above it. Other than that, it actually looks really good. The turn signals, they're molded inside the headlight housing and then painted orange, and then they actually do have the bulb detail back behind the acrylic. So it does look pretty nice. Porsche badge is printed on, but it looks pretty centered for the most part. Front license plate. So I'm assuming this is probably based off of a real car because it has front and back plates, or this might just be like the presentation plate that Porsche had on it. Not exactly sure, but it does look pretty good. Venting up at the front. It actually is pretty deep in there, and then there's just some black molding behind it, which I think is acceptable at this price point. It looks pretty good. Fuel door right there. And yeah, the silhouette looks good. The front headlights are kind of one of the main like characteristics of this generation of 911, and I think Tarmac Works did it well enough, especially considering these are like $12, $13 models. So similar to Mini GT, I think they look fine. Mini GT, of course, would do a better job. But anyways, here's the back. Nice wing. It is painted in that silver color as well, but for some reason, I think it's because it's on, I think because the silver paint is over black plastic, it looks a little bit darker than the actual body color. It's very easy to see. And I think that's just because it's painted on black plastic. But anyways, the wing itself looks really nice. And then a little bit of that taillight action right below that window. Nice panel lines on the window. And there's actually Porsche lettering on the bottom of the window too, which is pretty cool. And then the taillights on this one actually look really, really nice. So it's all acrylic, of course. And then you've got the red on the bottom and then a little bit of orange and silver on the top portion of it. I don't know if they actually, no, they didn't actually paint it. Well, it looks like the acrylic, so the acrylic goes over the silver paint of the body, and then it looks like it doesn't look like dual molded acrylic, but so I think they just painted red across the bottom. I think the actual body of the car is painted orange for the turn signals, and then there's a little bit of like a gap in the red paint where the reverse lights would be, I'm pretty sure. So I think that's how those work, but it works. It looks good. GT3 badging in the center. That license plate, again, looks pretty good. And then some silver exhaust tips with a little bit of detail on the bottom. So overall, looks good. Of course, this will roll fairly well, being a Global 64. But yeah, overall, I think this one actually looks pretty good. I do have a few small complaints with it, but we haven't seen it from Mini GT yet, so I probably will pick up a few more of those as they're released. But anyways, let's get into the one I'm excited for, and you guys probably are more excited for this as well. The Porsche 959. Packaging looks good. Again, they add a lot of detail that's not actually present on the model, which is, I don't know, just kind of weird to me. But yeah, standard Global 64 box packaging, licensed by Porsche. There's all that information right there. And then there's that information there. Just red. No actual Porsche paint code or anything, which is fine. Okay, here it is. The 959 is awesome. If I remember correctly, the 959 is one of the first cars that had TPMS sensors for the tire pressure, which is really cool. So, first impressions. It looks good. It actually looks really good. I definitely think it looks a lot better than the that 911 back there. And one of the first things I noticed is this one's really heavy, especially after holding this one, and that is because it has a metal base, which is amazing. Love to see that. Of course, name of the car and everything on the bottom. But yeah, this one looks really good. The wheels, the 5-spoke silver wheels look, they could be a little bit more defined, but they look fine. I wish they had like Porsche logos in the center of them or something, but it actually is not bad. Wheels look pretty good. Again, spins freely, so I'm assuming it rolls well. The mirrors appear to be rubber, but kind of a brittle, hard rubber. But they look pretty accurate. Oh, there's actually reflective stickers in them. Not typically something you see at this price point. That you don't usually get that until you get into Hobby 64. Oh, but it looks like these do too. That is pretty cool. But yeah, the mirrors are molded very nicely. In fact, I would argue that these are probably molded more accurately than most Mini GTs are. So that is a huge plus. The paint looks really good. As far as I can tell, it's just a glossy red. I don't think there's any metal flake in it. I'm assuming this is probably Guards red. If Guards red was around back then, because this is quite an old car. But anyways, yeah, the silhouette of it just looks fantastic in my opinion. But I keep catching like glimmer off the paint. Maybe it's just like dust particles or something. A little bit of like oil. Sometimes the paints have oil on them, but yeah, no, just a glossy red, but it looks really good. There's the front view. Very nice headlight details on this one. Much better than that 911. So headlight housings, of course, are pretty much round for the most part, and then they're lensed off, and then back up in there, they did some silver paint. Dog's barking upstairs. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but some silver paint back in that housing makes it look nicely detailed. And I've seen a lot of companies, when they do Porsche or anything with like a round headlight, sometimes in fact, I think Tarmac Works is typically pretty guilty of this. The round acrylic headlights sometimes just aren't very round. In fact, yeah, it is Tarmac Works. Well, kind of. This Schuko right here, man, I should have done this for this video. But these little things, I think they like painted over the round acrylic parts, but they're like, it makes them not perfectly round. But these actually look pretty dang round to me. But yeah, again, a real license plate on this. This might just be like a Porsche promotional license plate. That would make sense since they're pretty similar. But yeah, there's the shield on the front of the hood right there. Looks very nice. Actually, quite well detailed. Turn signals down below the actual headlights. Looks like they're painted with a slightly metallic yellowish orange color. And then all these, this whole grille up at the front looks really nice too. Very crisp paint and detail on those. And then a little bit of air channels on the sides in front of the wheels too, done in with some black paint. Looks really good. A little bit of black detail on the door handles. I assume there's supposed to be like some vents in here. Would have been cool if there was a little bit of black paint in those. But overall, it looks really cool. Here's the back view. Taillights look amazing. A little bit of orange, like a metallic-y orange behind the acrylic on the outsides for the turn indicators, and then the big red bar. And it looks like it's got a little bit of black outlining as well. License plate again on the back looks good. More of these vents. And then two exhaust tips back here, just painted in black, which I think is fine. And then a little bit of that grill detail for the engine. The 959 is rear engine, right? Yeah, it is. Pretty sure. Yeah, it would be because the fuel filler's up here at the front. But anyways. Well, actually, I don't know if that has any correlation. I'm going to get fried by the Porsche enthusiasts. Everyone always gets mad when I get facts about Porsches wrong. But yeah, this is really nice. I am definitely going to be collecting all the colors of this one, I think. Especially the silver. The silver is probably the most iconic for the 959, at least in my opinion. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm impressed with it. Tarmac Works did a good job. Well, again, I don't know if it was Tarmac. It was probably IXO that produced these. IXO, whoever produced it, did a good job. Also, the rear wing looks really cool too. I love on this car how it's kind of like built into like the body line, coming back off that rear fender, and it just flows right into the wing. Oh, I love it. Love it. Looks awesome. Very nice model. I guess I could do it for both, but let me put up a picture of a red 959 up on screen so you can see. And I'm pretty familiar with how these look, so I think I can say confidently that Tarmac Works did a good job with this one for sure. I think it looks awesome. Pleasantly surprised with this one, even more so than the silver 911 back here, which I'll also try to throw up a photo of. If they would have just made the headlights not foggy, not had that little blemish, and then what was the other thing I kind of complained about? I don't think there was too much else. Pretty nice model, not bad. But definitely like the 959 more. Very, very cool. Anyways, hopefully see some more of these older Porsches from Mini GT. It seems like they're doing the Dakars and the GT3 RSs still. So I'd love to see some older stuff. But anyways, you guys will have to let me know what you think of these down in the comments below. And I'll catch you in the next video.